Hello, everyone. Get ready to join us on Perspective Shifts with Lauren Parente as she dives deep into conversation with a very special guest. The message today is that one voice can change everything, and it only takes one person to begin a movement towards positive change. Have a listen to today's Perspective Shifts podcast, The Power of One, which reminds us that taking action is what matters most. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, Lauren here. Welcome to this episode of our Perspective Shifts podcast. I hope your day is off to a fantastic start. It's so great to have you all here with us today, and I'm thrilled to be speaking with our very special guest, Jana Grudauskas from The Period Purse. Jana is here with us today to share her story on how an afternoon of empathy for a homeless woman led to the inception of her foundation, The Period Purse, an organization which strives to achieve menstrual equity and reduce the stigma surrounding periods through public education and advocacy. Hi, Jana. Welcome.
Hi, Lauren. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Thanks for being on. It's so great to be speaking with you today. Thanks for taking the time to join us on Perspective Shifts. It's so great to have you here. You know, Jana, it was really nice to connect with you a few weeks back and hear your story. It's incredible to see everything you're doing for the community, and more specifically, the impact you're making on the dignity of women. You know, you really are inspiring empowerment and positive change. And we're excited to have you here to share our story. If you don't mind sharing it with us on how the Period Purse came to be and all the amazing initiatives that you have underway.
Yeah, it's such an amazing journey, and one that I didn't plan, really happened by accident, but it's such a beautiful thing that I've been handed to lead, and it's really snowballed into something so amazing. So in February of 2017, so just over 2 years ago from today when we're recording this, so 2017, I was just driving to work downtown Toronto, and a woman was actually panhandling at my car window at a red light, and I had nothing to give her. And I just thought, wouldn't it be great for me to have like an old purse or a bag beside me, stuffed with stuff that I really have at home, from toothpaste to a scarf to lotion and that kind of stuff. So that night when I went home, I collected stuff out of my closet, and that's where I saw my menstrual products in my linen closet. And I had that a huge aha moment that really has sparked the Period Purse of, oh my gosh, what is she doing during her period when she's experiencing homelessness? And right there, in my privilege and my ability to take what I consider a basic necessity for granted, it really hit me hard. So I just started talking to friends, and they too had never thought about it. So I think that is a great starting point, and people listening to this podcast and finding more out about the Period Purse. A lot of them have not thought about what somebody who is experiencing homelessness and who is financially burdened, what they're doing during their period. It went from one little idea of, I'm going to have one person in my car, to now giving over 22,000 period packs out, and to women and trans men across Ontario. And we also have a chapter in Saskatchewan. We're in 12 cities. So it's been a beautiful thing how it's really evolved. We've had amazing people come on as tons of volunteers and sharing their time and talents and expertise, and the community donating funds so we can continue to grow it to something as beautiful as it's happening right now.
It's so incredible. And I love that you're driving, you know, and you're looking and you're thinking that you have nothing to give this woman, you know, but your mind continued to search for a way to give back. And it's become such a huge mission that you're on, and you're making such a huge impact. Those aha moments are incredible, aren't they?
Yeah, it is amazing how, and I think it happens to so many more people, but it's just acting on it. And that's what I want to inspire other people to do, is you too have those moments of aha, you're right. And it could be just listening to this and being like, you're right, now I have to do something. And it is, hey, I want to donate a box of tampons, or I want to sponsor a menstruator for $12 a month, or I want to come to one of your packing parties. So everyone also can give in their way. For me, this political negative world that we're really getting. So for me, it was very needed for myself to be able to give positivity and give kindness back to this world, because we really need it right now.
I love that. And I know that kindness is one of your core values. And I know that you're driven by empathy, love, and, commitment to giving. How important is culture in moving an initiative forward, Jana?
Yeah, so I think everyone feels that kindness, and I know tons of us out there really want to do something meaningful in our community. And I think this is why it's really resonated with so many people, because we all have seen somebody experiencing homelessness. We all see it and know it, but we don't know what to do about it. So I think this mission and the Period Purse doing something so really basically simple is an easy way for people to give back. Whether, like I said, it's just buying an extra box or finding a nice used bag or purse at home to donate. All those little things really can make a difference. I think that culture of like, hey, you too can help, and we need this community. I don't do this. I have not done 22,000 healthy periods on my own. It's been an amazing team that I'm just kind of driving the bus, and people are working alongside me. So it's really great to inspire people to be kind and give them an idea to give. And it goes from everything from someone passed away, like a mother passed away and her adult son donated some stuff to us, to a girl at Easter said, Grandma, I don't want money from you. I actually want to buy menstrual products and donate it. To this weekend, we have a gay couple having a wedding and getting married, and they've asked their guests to bring full purses instead of gifts. So going back to that, changing the culture, it's an easy way that people can be like, yes, this is important and you're right. We do need to do something about it. And I'm just giving them a vehicle to be kind and to share that with their friends and community as well.
That's so amazing. And I know, your values speak to dignity, and, it's such a powerful word. What does it mean to you and the vision you hold for the Period Purse, Jana?
Dignity is such a word that is so strong and important to us. When I first had this aha moment, I started talking to women and trans men who living in the marginalized community in Toronto. I was hearing stories of they were lucky enough to get one tampon for their entire cycle from a shelter when they asked. And therefore they're resorting to making homemade pads out of toilet paper and newspaper and socks and rags. And this confronts infection, and it obviously leads to a feeling of shame. So this lack of dignity and equity is so widespread in our homelessness community. Giving back some menstrual health and giving back dignity to them of like, here is some clean, real products that your body needs is really important to us. And we've heard that from the people that we've given to of thank you. You've given us dignity back. Like I am not getting infection. I now don't have to use toilet paper from the coffee shop I go into, or steal a box of products, or use socks as a pad. So dignity is such a core value of the Period Purse, and us being able to give that back, which is so needed for them.
It's so important. And I know that education, is equally important with regards to raising awareness and making a positive impact. How is the Period Purse educating the community, Jana?
Yeah, so I'm a teacher in the daytime and, run Period Purse kind of after my kids go to bed, as I have two young kids. So education obviously is really who I am in my profession. So I saw the education piece at the very beginning of opening up people's minds and saying, hey, this menstrual equity is important. And let's put that idea in your head, like it was mine, of what are these people doing on their periods? So that first layer and that first opening and of their minds and educating them is kind of the first thing that I love, that spread of people talking about period poverty. But we have created last year, we created with actually one of our teenage volunteers who started this in our high school, an education program called Menstruation Nation. So she started collecting pads and tampons in her school to donate to the period purse, obviously. But then these girls were getting together and talking about periods and making it normal and reducing that stigma and coming to our packing parties and, you know, touching thousands of pads and tampons and learning about period poverty. And through this teenager's experience and my passion for education, we saw that this was really needed. And Menstruation Nation is such an amazing thing. I love that it really came from, you know, a teenager themselves and seeing that this was needed. But we're now going into schools, and when people donate, some of the funds goes to help our education program.
That's great. You know, empowerment is so important, and I know that your organization remains focused on strength, courage, and decision making. What are your thoughts on empowerment?
Empowerment is giving them the power of saying, like, hey, this is what I need, and then feeling like, now I've heard, hey, Jana and the period purse, we've been heard. This is needed, and thank you very much, and giving them that power back. But it's also the empowerment of, you know, the volunteers that come to our packing party and help with all different tasks that we run, and giving them the power of giving back that way.
Right.
It's such a beautiful term, that this empowerment is making women and girls, that really, it goes to the gender inequity gap that we have majorly, right? So without these lack of products, and we talk about the homelessness community so much, but there's also that marginalized pocket of people who are struggling financially, and those people are choosing to put a meal on their table instead of a box of tampons. And people don't realize that period poverty, even out of the homelessness community and shelters, is real in Canada, and that women are missing work and job interviews, and girls are missing school. Canadian girls are missing school due to lack of period products. So us being able to give this back and bring this issue up is, I think, an empowerment to the women and girls in that marginalized community, to help them go to work and be successful and go to school and get a good education, just like their male counterparts, and they're being set back just because of this natural body function of mine and theirs. So that empowerment is a beautiful thing, and it is, the more that I peeled off these layers and really learned and really listened, I found that this is also adding to our gender inequality gap. So this empowerment is needed. Girls need to be going to school. It should not be a reason that they're skipping school because they can't afford pads.
Wow, I love that. How far have we come, Jana, in reducing the stigma surrounding periods, and what challenges lie ahead?
So I think we've just cracked this open. I think now I'm seeing the media and people talking about periods. That's kind of the first step. Whether it's people inviting me to speak or winning awards or having me on the radio or writing an article, people are now just brave enough to be like, yes, we need to talk about periods. So I think that can has finally been just open, and we have a long way to go. And I see that from negative comments, whether it's on social media and people making fun of it, to a female politician in Ontario this week said that period poverty is not in Canada, and her city didn't need to financially support it. Wow. So that just shows me that stigma of periods is so uncomfortable for her and him and her and them, that we've been ingrained. Like, I'm 42 years old, and I know that for 40 years, I have grown up in a culture where we don't talk about periods. They're seen as dirty. We don't know very much about it. And that's where we feel that education piece is so important, because we really need to educate that next generation about menstruation, girls, boys, and every student, because we need to really remove that stigma of periods. It's a normal piece of our body. None of us would be here without a period, because, the woman who brought us into this world had a period and needed a period to make us. So it's a needed thing, and it's just part of health. I feel that we have just cracked it open, and it's great that people are starting to talk about it, but we have a long way to go, and that's okay. When I see those negative comments or people making choices against menstrual equity, I know that I have work to do. And I know that it needs to start with that next generation, because those are the people that we really can change.
What a great perspective. And I love that forward thinking. The period purse is really making a difference, Jana. And I love all that you stand for. You're striving to make an impact. And I'm sure you have hundreds and hundreds of stories regarding the difference that you guys have made. Is there one, though, that kind of stands out to you most? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
Yeah. So there's a special woman to me, who she's actually done some media with me, whether it's a radio show she did, or she's spoken to a few reporters online for newspapers. She was very brave enough to talk about her experience, because it's hard enough to find anyone to talk about their situation and about homelessness. And then you add on the layer about periods. So we were very lucky to find her to be able to share her point of view, because I am just a privileged teacher who can afford period products. And I grew up in a family of 2 teachers, and I always had period products in my bathroom. So I don't understand that. So anyhow, she has shared her story about how when she was living in shelters, there wouldn't usually be any. Or she told me that one story of, hey, one time I had my period and I got 1 for my entire cycle. So she really helped me feel it and give it that sense. So this woman actually is now employed. She works part-time at 4 shelters and drop-in centers in downtown Toronto. And she's a huge, now as a worker with her experience, a huge advocate and voice for us of the period purse. She makes sure everyone has their period packs and makes sure everyone is being clean about it and not using toilet paper. And she is so proud to give, as the worker now with that experience, being able to help others. And she usually makes me cry when she talks to me. And just seeing that joy in her face and her eyes, because she is now proud, saying, here, I volunteer with the period purse, and here's a period pack, and this is what it is, and I want to help you. So I think that it's such a beautiful story that's really dear to my heart, of how that has really come full circle. And yeah, I'm glad to be able to give her that dignity and now empower her to feel special and to give it to the people who are working in the shelter she's at.
An incredible story. And I love that empowerment. It's so beautiful. Your mission, Jana, what are you looking to accomplish with your organization moving forward in the near future?
It's a great question. And it's so incredible and hard for me to say that now, because in 6 months changes so quickly with the period purse. A year ago, we made our first strategic plan for the next up until 2020. And we really set out our 3 pillars, which is the outreach, the education, and advocacy. So I really feel what we need to put more focus on is the last 2, is the education and the advocacy piece. Because like I said before, the education is needed for young people to learn about menstruation, because they're not learning very much, and they're learning from their parents about the stigma and don't talk about it and it's dirty. So that is important for me to grow and help spread to more schools and more cities. And then the advocacy piece is a new piece for me that I've been doing in the last year. And really that started with education. Like I said, I'm a teacher. I don't know how to be an advocate and advocates. So it just started with a conversation with a city councilor saying, hey, do you know that this is a problem? And do you know that women are using toilet paper as tampons? And of course, once you think it, you can't unthink it. And with that advocacy piece and me raising my voices and having some amazing meetings with politicians on all three levels of government, I have made systematic changes. So the City of Toronto has it in their 2019 budget to support shelters with money just for menstrual products. And that was due to my advocacy. Recently, the Liberal federal government has come out with a proposition of supporting all federally run corporations and businesses across Canada to have free menstrual products in the washrooms. And these things, honestly, Lauren, they make me cry for a few days because I see how my educating these people in power can make a big difference. And I also see that is important to make those systematic and policy changes, because I can give out 1 million tampons and they just can be reused every month. But it's these big changes that politicians have the power to do that is actually going to shift our country for menstrual equity and helping women and girls across this country. So I'm really proud of that. And I'm excited to see where else it goes.
And you should be, Jana. Taking action and making change is so incredible. And community is always key when it comes to making an impact. There's strength in numbers. How can people support, cooperate, participate, with you on this education and advocacy if they're interested in making a difference, Jana?
Well, one thing is just obviously to go into our website to learn more, theperiodpurse.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook as well to follow more on our journey. And it is from anything to finding our volunteer with us and finding how you can volunteer with us, or helping a chapter in your city, or starting a new chapter in your city. So we need some strong leaders in different cities that can run packing parties. So it's just going on our line, seeing how they can volunteer, but it can be as simple as starting a conversation about period poverty in Canada with a friend and opening their mind to that. It's challenging your boss to provide free period products in your bathroom. This is something that I've learned that is needed, because somewhere along the line, someone decided that soap and toilet paper is free and should be in every bathroom, but not menstrual products. So this is something that I say, hey, this is something that you can do in your workplace, and asking your boss to have it in your bathroom. Just like the federal government is going to put it in all their buildings, but also their corporations underneath them as well. They can sponsor a menstruator. So it's $12 a month that people can sponsor. And this money goes towards giving a period pack to somebody living in a shelter, so they have a healthy period. But that $12 a month also helps fund our education program that I've talked about, of us going into schools, as we continue to need funds to help support and grow that program. So there's so many ways for people to join this menstrual movement that is spreading.
That's amazing. And I saw a couple upcoming events as well. The fundraiser period and the fashion cycle coming up as well. People want to learn about participating. Should I go online for that?
Yeah, they can go online on our website. There's kind of information and links about those fun upcoming events. We usually are quiet in the summer to give our volunteers a break, um, so we don't all burn out, and we kind of gear up again in the fall for another blitz. And the giving season will obviously come very quickly in the fall, and soon enough we will be a registered charity. So I'm excited to announce that any day now on a
Oh,
yes. And
I
that
know it's a
will,
lot of work to get
it
there. So
is a lot of work. So I'm very excited to. That will also be another day I cry, but it's
ah,
been an amazing thing to see that idea. And one thing I just knew all the time, like even as a little kid, I just, that was one of my answers of what you want to do when you grow up. And leading a charity was one of my answers. And it's incredible that I will have now started a charity. So
I
it's
just got
pretty
goosebumps.
beautiful.
It sure
Thank
is.
you.
And I just wanted to leave off with one thought,
Hmm.
and I know your values are incredible. And one really struck me. They're all great, but one really struck me, and it was the power of one,
Mm.
and it was so beautifully written. We believe that every act of good matters. One person can make a difference. Isn't this what it's all about?
It is. And I think I have really proven
Yeah.
that your one voice does matter and your one voice can make a change. And one person has the power of sometimes they even run collections in their workplace. So one person can ask 10 of their colleagues and make this nice mountain of donation or a book club. So it is a beautiful thing that one person really has the power to have that good and be able to spread it. And one person can make a difference. And I challenge people a lot to say, speak up, because my story proves to you that one voice can make a difference. And and it's important that one person, for them to know that they too can make a difference as well.
I'm so, grateful and inspired by the fact that you took that one moment, that one opportunity where you thought that you couldn't give back, and you turned it into something that is so impactful and so inspiring and so empowering on so many levels. And, I just have to thank you for
Thank
sharing your
you.
story with us here today, Jana. We're so happy to be partnering with you and the Period Person, raising awareness,
Hmm.
providing support however we can. It's such a great cause. Thank you for recognizing a need and turning it into an amazing opportunity to give back and make a difference.
Thank you. I'm very honored to take this, but it takes a team, and I'm so proud of the amazing people who are working alongside me tirelessly, really, towards our mission. And they're all volunteers, so they deserve a round of applause as well.
Amazing. They sure do.
Yeah.
And like attracts like, so I can just imagine the team that you have going on.
Hmm.
Amazing, Jenna.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. To learn more about the Period Purse, you can visit www.theperiodpurse.com or email them directly at hello@theperiodpurse.com. Please reach out if you'd like to get involved with the organization's initiatives, and be sure to share this podcast with all the change makers you know. Jana's story is so inspiring, and it's, amazing to be able to come together and continue moving this initiative forward. Thanks, everyone.
Lauren Parente, igniting inspiration and transformation through intentional living. Please visit www.laurenparente.com for more information.